Hello everyone and welcome to another Multiple Apps Workflow with me, Eldarin, from Logicel Lumiere. Today we're going to be talking about painting and texture workflows in ZBrush and Body Paint. Alright, so when we left off, we had just finished animating our face in Softimage. And we went through that workflow in the last tutorial, basically importing in our model into Softimage, breaking apart the head, and adding facial animation to the model. But alright, we've added motion to our model, we've cleaned up some of the DAZ figurine stuff, added in some new poses, and gotten some motion capture on our model. And we're moving along quite nicely here, but we want to go further. So let's say we want to add a different texture to our model. Perhaps we want to do a different UV layout. Perhaps we want to add in some interesting new detail to her skin, add some interesting scars, or perhaps change something else up like that. Well, how can we go further? Well, with Body Paint here in Cinema 4D, we can paint our model. We can change the UV layout up. We can do a number of things. We can also look at our layout, our DAZ layout, which is a pretty amazing UV layout, to be honest, and we could use that and kind of tweak that to get to a much better state in our further texturing workflow. For instance, in Mari, Mudbox, and even in ZBrush, they allow multi-tile texture workflow, which means we can break up the model into multiple texture maps and add significantly more detail to different areas of the model to increase the fidelity. We take a look at her face here. That's kind of creepy. But if we render this and let it go through, we've got a bit of detail here in the face, but we don't really possibly have as much detail as we could. And even if we do, as we'll see in the next chapter, the layout of the UVs are kind of interesting. Cinema 4D. Now, Cinema 4D is an interesting tool. I love the way materials are laid out here. It's such an intuitive way to break down your materials. However, you need to bear in mind that the way Cinema 4D handles the materials doesn't necessarily translate quite as well to other programs, and it can be confusing. Alright, so those are some of the reasons why we will want to texture our model. We obviously want to add more detail, we obviously want to add more believability, and we kind of want to step away from the DAZ figures stock model options so that we get a character that's more convincing and believable and a little bit less recognizable than it was when we initially got in. So in the next chapter, we're going to look at UV editing and materials here in Cinema 4D and in its companion painting program, Body Paint. We're going to see how the materials in Cinema 4D work in greater detail, and then we're going to edit some UVs. Alright, so see you guys there.